With the National Women's League set to get underway in 2017, we believe the Giants are perfectly placed to establish and develop a successful women's team that will continue to drive meaningful community outcomes across Western Sydney and the ACT.
My name's Alicia and I'm an AFLW player at the GWS Giants. Footy began in the park across the road from my house in East Melbourne, down in Melbourne. Yeah, I went down to Auskick with my schoolmates at the age of 6 and stayed there until the age of 18. So I played Auskick at East Melbourne and then went all the way through junior footy with the boys.
My name is Beeson and I am the current captain of the Giants. It begins in the suburbs of Perth. I played a little bit with the boys in primary school, just at lunch and recess. But yeah, it began seriously at the Swan Districts Footy Club in Perth, in that youth girls competition there.
I'm Alicia Newman and I'm a small forward at the GWS Giants. Footy for me, I think, has been a very weird journey. Grew up as a footy fanatic and yeah, kind of didn't play footy until I got drafted, really. Played a couple of games like in high school and stuff, but yeah, didn't really play a proper game until I got drafted, which is a bit rogue.
I'm Katherine Smith, Giants player. Footy begins for me at Laburnum Auskick when I was about 3 years old. Followed my big brother around, kicking the footy with him. Dad was always coaching, involved, Mum was always there, so footy's kind of always been a big part of my life.
Originally they said AFLW will be a thing in 2030. But we just kept making more noise. I was juggling lots of different things. I was studying, I was playing footy and I was coaching because I just wanted to work in the AFL industry. In 2015 I reached a point of complete burnout, just trying to do everything, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to take myself overseas and do that thing that everyone does. Well, not everyone, but those lucky enough to. So I went overseas and just took my first year off footy. My phone started exploding and Dad said, oh, Gillan McLaughlin's just announced that AFLW is starting in 2017. So at that point I kind of gave myself 3 months to enjoy the rest of my trip and do what I needed to do, and then get back into Melbourne and give myself the best shot of being part of that first ever competition. And yeah, 10 seasons later, I'm now at a different club to the one that I was drafted to, but it's been an amazing journey, and I never actually thought I'd be a player, so it's pretty special.
But I remember when I was about 16, deciding between AFL and basketball, and that decision was a really hard one because basketball did have a pathway, and I was betting on the AFL eventually having an AFLW competition. And so when Gil made the decision to make it earlier, it was almost perfect timing.
I was a footy head growing up and thought that I guess I knew it all being a spectator, but I actually knew absolutely nothing. Yeah, I learned pretty quickly that you couldn't just rely on talent, you needed to really work hard.
I probably didn't speak in the first season or two. I think I was still very much figuring out who I was as a person. I don't think I was fully confident in myself in my first few years at the club. Yeah, and that probably showed in the way that I carried myself and interacted with my teammates.
Honestly, it was probably one of the most challenging things I've done in my career, probably in my life, to be honest. Not only did I need to move states, I needed to move clubs when I felt like I'd just moved clubs as well. I'd literally just played a season with Pies and then got the opportunity to trade across to the Swans, and literally within, I think I remember it was maybe a month or so, and I needed to literally up and leave and come to Sydney. So yeah, it was very daunting, but it was honestly the best thing I've ever done.
Decision to move to the Giants was actually a really big one. So I did my knee at the start of 2020. I probably had my football life, which I was really happy, and then my life outside of football, I wasn't happy, and didn't really realise until the knee happened that I actually can leave Melbourne, I can move, and I probably had this desire to live somewhere different, live somewhere warmer, live on the beaches, and kind of challenge myself in life rather than sticking to this Melbourne bubble, which I've known for so many years.
I thought, you know what, this is the right time for me to make this leap of faith, and it might be great, it might be scary, it might completely sink, but I probably lived a pretty comfortable, safe life up until that point.
I think that period of time where I had all those concussions and I had things going on away from footy as well, that sort of, I'm going to say it's that 12-month period, I think really changed me as a person. I think, yeah, that period sort of changed me because I sort of faced the possibility of footy being taken away from me, and at the end of the day, like, all I wanted to do was just come to the club and be around the girls and have fun with the girls and be around my mates. I think it was only really then that I came to fully appreciate how special it is to be a part of this team and just be a part of a footy club.
You know, people would often say, oh, well, the Giants, they bring in, half the list has come from interstate, more than half the list has come from interstate. We've had to bring that talent in whilst we develop and upskill New South Wales born and bred. But I don't think people have understood the barriers that have existed or the lack of pathway in this state in order to get to the top.
But the group is so determined to get better, and like the leaps and bounds that we've had in the 2 years I've already been here has been incredible. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what we can do in the next couple of years, and the babies of the group are something that's so exciting to see. The education, the development that they have within weeks, let alone years that it took me to grow into the game, is really exciting.
I love coming into the footy club. I love being part of this group. I love being competitive. And yeah, I love footy. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make the most of being an athlete whilst I have an opportunity to.
One of our biggest key values is being fearless, and in that is being authentically who you are. And I think, yeah, there's a lot of programs that you come in, it's like you've got to be X, Y, and Z to be this club player, whereas here it's like, no, we actually just want you to be yourselves and we will love you for that. And I think that's one thing that I really treasure at the club, and one thing I want to ensure that like anyone who does come to the club, they're authentically themselves and they're happy within themselves. To me, it just feels like family. Like it's my family away from home. You walk into the four walls and it's literally like you've got the biggest smile on your face, and it doesn't matter who you walk past or who you talk to, they're going to bring a smile to your face. And
so the culture piece is massive for us. We are a family. We do come from far and wide.
For me, the most important thing, and I think that I'm going to take out of being part of this organisation for coming on 10 years now is the people and the relationships that I've built over the years with some of my best mates who are going to be my best mates for life.
This is a fun group. These girls are fun. They make me feel old, but they also make me feel young at the same time. But having my little boy be able to share his first few months and maybe years of his life with this bunch, I feel really fortunate. So looking forward to what's ahead.